All right, so we're all set. Let's start this baby. So we're a little early, it's no big deal. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. And today is a pretty exciting day for several reasons. The most obvious reason is that we're about to finish this painting finally after several weeks. So that's always exciting. The second reason, of course, is because it's Friday and it's almost the weekend. So anyways, today is going to be an extremely short stream because I really don't have that much to do. But before we get to that, let's go over to the computer. Let's check out what we did yesterday and we'll tackle our day from there. So yesterday, what did we do? Oh yes, we finished the details of our leaves on our frame. After that, we put the first coat of colors to our heart. Orange, red, gold. Once that was done, fortunately with the nice warm weather and the fan, our coat of details on our leaves were done. We could finally finish those off. And eventually we put on a second coat of orange and red on our heart so that today all we had to do is just do the outline to the heart, a little bit of yellow on the top here, and then that signature, which is worth a fortune, and then we're all done. So it is going to be like, what, a 20-minute stream, maybe half an hour max. So that's that is great for a Friday, perfect timing. Monday, we'll be celebrating our 200th stream. So I'm having some musicians come in. My friend Jalil, who plays a whole bunch of African instruments. I have Diego, who is an extraordinary violinist, who will be in, and several other friends. So Monday is going to be a lot of fun. I'm not going to have much to do. I'll probably unroll a new canvas, measure the dimensions that I want, staple it to the wall while my friends are playing music, put on a coat of gesso, and that will be a short stream as well. And we will continue to party with my musician friends as we end our stream. So for right now, where am I at here? Blah, 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 talking. So what I got to do is make some black paint and some yellow. That's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the black paint on the top of the heart. Then I'm going to put the yellow details on, and then I'll continue with the black outlines. All that so I don't end up having to worry about putting my hand in the yellow paint, as I do so often. So let me just grab a palette here. And let me peel some of this old paint off. There we go. So let me do that. I'm going to do this on camera number 1 way over here, because this shows you really what acrylic paints are. All these pigments in acrylic paints are held together with a polymer emulsion, which is nothing else than plastic, really, when you look at it. Look how flexible this stuff is. Well, that's what's holding acrylic paints together. So what you do is that when you have a palette full of paint, you just peel this stuff off, and then eventually, since these jar caps are made out of plastic, they are, since they are non-porous, the paint doesn't stick to them. Once they're dried, the paint's dry, you just peel it off, and then you have a brand new clean palette to work with. So always very practical. So let me grab my black paint. It's one of these days where I don't feel I have to rush, which is pretty awesome. Well, in fact, I don't even need a palette because I used yesterday the cap to my black paint jar. So what the heck? That seems to work just as nice as using a new palette. Just clean off a little bit of this excess dried paint so it doesn't fall and screw up my painting. There we go. So what do I have here? I have a little bit of paint, and I don't need all that much really. I don't have much of a surface to do either with that or for my signature. But you know what? I'm just going to add a little more black like that. I won't be pressed halfway through and worried that I won't have enough or whatnot. So let me just clean off my knife as well. And more importantly, find the right paintbrush for the task at hand. So before I look for the right paintbrush, I'm going to take a larger paintbrush that I won't be using just to mix the paint with a little bit of water so that my black paint will be really nice and liquid, almost like ink if possible, but yet a little thicker because I do want to retain, I want it to retain the opacity to a maximum, right? Don't want to see through the black, and I definitely am not going to be putting 2 coats down. So let me just work this. Just take a few seconds. Look at that nice and creamy texture. Looks wonderful. Okay, so that's all set. And I might as well, so I don't have to stop halfway through, might as well get the yellow paint ready as well. And the yellow paint is really just like 2 big commas on each side of the heart. And well, we have this brand new clean palette that we just peeled off the old paint. I'll use that. Grab my knife again. Put some of this beautiful yellow. There, I put quite a bit because I'm going to make this, has to go down in one shot, and I want it to be nice and thick so that when it dries, it stays nice and opaque as well. So, get that done. All right, so I got that done. So I'm going to first of all find the right paintbrush for my little heart there, the commas. So I'm trying to imagine the size that I want, and knowing what size I will find the appropriate paintbrush for that. Maybe this one. So let me just mix some water with this yellow paint again so I can have total control over it. And with the heat that we have here in southern France, I mean, it's nice and toasty in the studio. I have the fan going, but my paints are a lot, they don't need much water. They're pretty liquid. I guess with the heat, they kind of soften up. So this is already the right texture that I want. I'm just not totally convinced about the size of my paintbrush. I think they will do it. I think it'll be okay. I guess I wasn't sure. I had to look at the size of the heart. There, so this is ready to go as well. Now I need the right size paintbrush for my heart. I have several choices. I don't want the lines to be too thick. I don't want them to be too thin. So I have to really, I'm just going to check them all out. And I think I already have the solution right here in my hand, but I just want to double check and see what my other options are. Maybe this guy as well. Okay, I'm going to wet both of these brushes. And, so maybe I'm going to go with this one. I'll put this one aside just in case I change my mind. So I'm all ready to go. I'm just going to get rid of the excess water on my brush. I'm going to bring camera number 1 over a little closer. Like that, we can see exactly what I'm doing. Keep an eye on me in case I screw up. And let's zoom in on this heart. I'll zoom in on the top part of the heart, which is where I'm going to be starting. There we go. Just like that. Maybe I'll move the camera over. Will I be in the way? No, I won't. Okay, very good. There's one thing I don't like. It's being in front of the lens. Okay, so we are ready to go. I'm just going to step back for 1 second. Okay, so let's go for it. Okay, this is definitely the right size paintbrush. Okay, just like that. And now I'm going to just do my little yellow, my 2 little yellow details right here. One of them. There we go. Very good. Nice and thick. They have all weekend to dry before I ship off the painting to the MoMA. And let me just return here for a second just to dry off my paintbrush. Pick up my black palette. And I'll return to camera number 1 where we will continue our heart. There we go. I have to stay concentrated, so I'm not talking that much. I can always go back and fix little screw-ups, which I usually do, but if I'm trying to avoid them, and for that, I'm trying to stay concentrated. I had to say concentrated because this was knifed on. So there's a lot of texture, a lot of bumps. There we go. Let me just step back for a second. And yes, I do see something I want to fix. I'm going to do that right now. Right there. I'm going to have to go back and add some gold to that, which is no big deal. I'm going to bring my fan just a little bit closer, like that. Put it on medium high. Whoops. So hold on a second. There we go. Get the fan up there so it dries quickly. And then I can go back and fix all the little, there we go. There we go. Okay, not bad, not bad. Just stepping back, making sure everything's okay. Just gonna fix this little area right here. Okay, so I will have to go back with a little bit of gold, fix there. Frankly, it's no big deal. Okay, so what next? What next? Well, we're almost done already. I can't believe it. Next is the signature and then fixing the gold. I might have to do the gold a little later once the black paint is nice and dry. Get that over. First of all, I'm just going to put this yellow paint back in the jar. We don't want to waste a drop of paint, not at the prices they go for. So there we go. So I am going to put my signature down below here in the dark blue. I'm going to do that with a black paint right down there. So for me to do that, I'm going to grab a stool to sit on, which is nothing more than a big giant can of paint. There we go. Now I have my black paint already done. Now the question is, yes, I'm going to switch paintbrushes, or am I? I really don't want my signature to be too big. Just want it to be the right size, but not too intrusive. I think this brush will be okay if I'm careful. So I'm going to switch over to, well, let me see first of all if my paint is, yeah, it was already stiffening up with the heat. The water already evaporated. I'm just going to work this for a few seconds. There we go. Get this to be really, if there's one thing I cannot fix or do over is my signature. So I want to make sure I don't blow it. There, this looks pretty good. Let me just get that blob of paint. I don't know what's going on there. Look at that, a hair. Where in the hell? How come there's some hairs in here? Wonder where that comes from. So the paint is ready to go. I'll just wipe off my paintbrush to make sure I have total control over it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to camera number 1. I'm going to leave it roll on empty. What I mean by that, nothing is going to happen for a few seconds. And the reason for that is because when I do my movie afterwards, when I edit my movies afterwards, I fast forward the signature. And I usually do it twice, actually. Fast forward it twice. Do it once, record it, then what the fast forward, I fast forward a second time. So at the beginning and at the end, those get shortened as well. That's why I have to leave some blank space to allow for the frames to be shortened afterwards. Whatever. I'm sure, I hope that made sense. So let me bring the camera down to where I'm going to be signing this masterpiece. Right there. I'm going to move it a little bit to the side. I know it's going to distort the whole thing a little bit, but let me just bring the camera just where I want it. And I guess right there, maybe I'll zoom in a little bit more. Something like that. So, how does that look on the computer? I think that'll look okay. So, I'm just about all set to go. So I guess I'll just switch over to camera number 1 for real. I am ready to paint, but this is where I was just mentioning I'm going to leave it on empty for a few seconds. Like that, I won't have to worry when I do my editing. I'll have plenty of space and time before my signature. And at the end of my signature, I'm going to do the same thing again. There we go. So now let's go for it. There we go. And like I mentioned, I'm just going to leave some blank. Like that, I'll have plenty of time to fast forward twice. There we go. I guess that's plenty of time, right? Okay. Okay, so we got that done as well. me put my stool, paint can and chair away. And let me pull the camera back a little bit. So my, we are awfully close to finishing this painting. Actually, it's totally finished now. I just want to add a little bit of gold right there. Looks like it's just about dry, so I shouldn't have any problems. That's what's great about painting in summertime. Everything dries so quickly. My gold is right here. Okay. I really don't have much to do with the gold, but I do, you know, it's that old thing, wanting to make things as perfect as possible. As they say in Latin, ne tentes aut perficie, do not attempt unless you perfection. Ne tentes aut perficie. So let me just work this little gold a little bit. It's kind of thick, which is good. But at the same time, I do want to have total control over what I'm going to do. Since I'm fixing a screw up, I sure as hell don't want to create another screw up. So there we go. So I'm going to have to kind of climb above the whole thing. Let me just get the camera in there. Here, I'll zoom in even more. There we go. So I'll switch to camera number 1. And I'll try to climb from above. Here we go. Of course, there is right where I'm, right here, a sort of a bump, some sorts, which is screwing around with my paint. Just like that, which means I have to go back with my black paint and fix it. All in the name of that elusive sense of perfection, if such a thing exists. Okay, so let's try that. God damn it. That's why I hate fixing screw-ups. It doesn't always go the way you want it to. It's no big deal. I got all day to fix this damn thing. And I'll take all day if I have to. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Just about there. Just about there. I'm just going to go right to the other end. Right there. I am sharing everything with you guys. I mean, we are talking, what, a 32nd of an inch Okay, I know I'm being very picky, but I can't help it. Can't help it. And here again, because of the texture, I have a lot of little bumps. Which I can fix just like that. Okay. Okay. I am just about done with this baby, I must say. All right. I was just thinking for a few seconds because I'll zoom in to explain why. But as you can see right here, there's that orange background, which is one of these, let me zoom out a little bit more, which is just one of these bubbles that is showing right there. And I was just wondering if I shouldn't paint that orange into a green background and sheet a little bit, just so aesthetically it would look better in green. And I think I'm going to do that. It's called cheating, but I think aesthetically the painting will look better. And this is a painting that I really enjoy. I love this painting, and I really want it to look as great as possible. And since we have nothing else to do today except fix all these little quirks, well, that's what we do at with a finished product. You just fix all the little things that kind of upset you. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm just going to fix that as well. I see also I'm going to need a little bit of red paint, another little teensy weensy little thing I need to fix as well. And where am I here? I'm still stuck on the other camera, okay? There we go. So I have my green paint here. I got a clean brush right here. I'm just going to work this green paint a little bit with some water again. And I'm going to be very careful because I'm not going to want to add more black. Hopefully I won't have to go back and correct the black. So let me zoom back in here. Come on, baby. There we go. And I'm just going to switch back to camera number 1. Try to fix this because there's a lot of texture there as well. See, just like that, I think it look, when it's all dry, it'll blend in with the background. Nobody will ever see it, and it'll be just fine. I think it'll look better than leaving that orange, which just kind of I don't know, looks sore to the eyes. And this is also a little drop of red I'm going to add on to the heart. And I'll zoom in and show you why. Let me put this down for a second. Let me put things away. And I'll show you right here. It's right where we were, that same corner. Now on the camera, right here, you can see a little bit of white. Well, that is the shine from the light shining on the black paint. But down here, right on the red, you can see two little dots of white. And that is where I'm going to put some red paint just to get rid of those two stupid little dots that I have no idea how they got there. Just like that. Again, they look like they're still white, but again, that is because of the reflection of the light on the canvas, or on the paint, I should say. So, let me just come back to camera number 2 here. Rinse off this, put this away, put on my bathing suit, head on out to the beach. So let me put things away here. I'll move camera number 1 all the way back here so we can have hopefully a full view of the painting, which is not obvious at all. Seeing the size of it. Almost got the whole thing. Maybe if I move it just a few inches further back, we'll get the whole baby in there. Something like that. Let me move this. I'm trying to adjust the camera here so I don't have the fan in the way as well. There we go. So, very good, very good. I am just going to grab again a little bit of green paint. This time I'll just use my finger, and I'm going to just fix there a little spot of gold that bothered me. There, a little bit of white as well. With my finger, I can fix all these little quirks. I'm just very quickly looking around for other little imperfections that if I can fix right now. And I did see a couple, so I'm going to do that. Grab this green paint, the background, and I'm going to come down into this corner right down in here. What camera am I on? Okay, so right in here, I can see that I missed a little bit. No big deal. I'm just going to add a little bit of green paint. Just like that, nobody will ever know. Very good. So let me check out the rest. Very good. So most of that looks pretty good. I know I'm nitpicking, but that's part of the process. Can you hear the bells? The cathedral next door must have heard wind that I finished the painting. They're chiming the bells. Ring those bells. So, I guess we are done for today. I'm kind of hoping the bells will stop so I can sign off without having to scream. pretty crazy. Okay, so we will conclude today's stream with the cathedral's bells chiming away. I want to thank you again for joining me. I'll just move to the side, show you the painting from up front. That's what it looks like. And I'll show you the painting view from camera number 2. As the bells are tolled. And then let's look at camera number 1. And there you have it. So, join me on Monday again for our 200th stream. I'll have my friends and musicians here. We're going to have a lot of fun in the studio. I hope you'll join me 9 a.m. I all hope you have an extraordinary and wonderful weekend. And I'm going to leave you with 2 things like usual. The first is my schedule. The second is these lovely bells. And I guess the third thing is by saying, ciao mes amis.